Donald Trump has suffocated the soul of the Republican Party. His fundamental weakness has coursed through my party like an illness, sapping our strength, softening our spine, whipping us into a fever that has untethered us from our values.
He has no empathy, no morals, and no fidelity to the truth. He used to tell me, "It doesn't matter what you say, Stephanie. Say it enough and people will believe you."
His actions disqualified him from ever stepping foot into the Oval Office again.
Those were some of the many Republicans who spoke out against Donald Trump this week at the Democratic Convention.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the YouTube channel. You're here with Pastor James Devalon. I got a good one for you today. Listen, what you're about to watch right now is a discussion with Tom Cotton addressing what I will call media propaganda. You're going to see knowledge, facts, understanding, decency, and just a very calm demeanor coming from a Republican, addressing the media's, how do I say this, misconceptions, kind of like siding with the Democrats, even though the facts is not on their side. It's going to be a perfect display of that today. So we're not going to waste your time. Make sure you like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let's get right into this.
I'm joined now by top Trump ally, Senator Tom Cotton of Arkansas. Welcome to This Week. So what do you make all those Republicans speaking at the Democratic Convention?
Oh, what I make of them is that Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing. But what most Americans remember is that for 4 years when Donald Trump was president, we had peace and prosperity. Everything has gone to hell under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris over the last 4 years. And that's a clear contrast we have. This is an unusual presidential election because Donald Trump has been president before. The American people know what he did. They know that he understands the kind of pain they've suffered for the last 4 years under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. And I think that's why they're ready to return Donald Trump to the White House.
But there seemed to be a clear strategy on the part of the Democrats to try to appeal to the Republicans. And of course, Donald Trump has absolutely solid support in the Republican base. But there are a lot of Republicans uneasy with him as the nominee again, and they seem to be going right at them.
Well, in every election, John, you have some members of one party endorsing a candidate of the other party. That's a very traditional aspect of American politics. I mean, look at what just happened this week. The Democratic Party under Kamala Harris has gone so far to the left that you actually had a Kennedy endorse a Republican. That's pretty remarkable that the Democratic Party has become so radical under Kamala Harris that a member of the Kennedy family has come out to endorse a Republican.
I don't know if Bobby Kennedy Jr. at this point is that representative of the Kennedy family, but I want to get to that in a second.
I don't think Bobby Kennedy, right? You see what he just did? All right, he just threw that little jab, and let's move on. Let's move on.
I've already started that process and urged voters not to vote for me. It's with a sense of victory and not defeat that I'm suspending my campaign activities. Not only did we do the impossible by collecting 1 million signatures, we changed the national political conversation forever. Chronic disease, free speech, government corruption, breaking our addiction to war have moved to the center of politics. I can say to all who have worked so hard in the last year and a half, thank you for a job well done. 3 great causes drove now to throw my support to President Trump.
And that's actually a very beautiful thing. You cannot overlook that, right? Bobby Kennedy, who was a staunch Democrat, you can say, I did not agree with some of his policies, but when it comes to him strengthening the value of health, trying to get some honesty in our medical industry so that we can really address the issue that we have right now with the welfare industry, including insurance and everything like that, medical insurance. If you really want to lower the cost, right, you just want your people to be healthier. But if the people gets healthy, some of these institutions will no longer exist. I think this is one of the reasons why they didn't like the guy. And they call him anti-vax, conspiracy theorist and all that. But the man makes a lot of sense. So the fact that he is now supporting Donald Trump.
Don't you want healthy children? And don't you want the chemicals out of our food? And don't you want the regulatory agencies to be free from corporate corruption? And that's what President Trump told me that he wanted.
That is a massive movement to the point where he's like, whoa, it's going to garner a lot of people that were somewhat in the middle, that were somewhat old school Democrats, if I may use that term. A lot of classical liberals will also begin to consider voting for Trump. That is a huge and massive movement. But again, the interviewer, for some reason, he cannot handle the fact. He wants to do a little jab here and there, but hey, but let's move on.
Kennedy Jr. at this point is that representative of the Kennedy family. But I want to get to that in a second. But first, there are reports. There's obviously a bit of a momentum change here. You see it in the polls. You see it in the money flowing in to the Harris campaign. And there was a report in Politico that Trump now knows that he has to change things up or that he could lose. You talk to him. I mean, what's your sense? Do you need a change in direction?
Well, President Trump and his campaign has known all along, and they've said all along, that this race is going to be a close race.
Actually, he said it would be a landslide, just to be clear. He said he was going to win in a landslide.
But look, we know the race will probably come down to a few 100,000 votes in a few states. President Trump has been campaigning hard and vigorously now for months. Obviously, that's going to increase in its pace as we get closer to the election. And President Trump is going to draw a sharp contrast with Kamala Harris, who has supported things like decriminalizing illegal immigration or giving taxpayer-funded health insurance to illegal aliens or taking away health insurance on the job for 170 million Americans, banning gas cars, confiscating firearms.
These are all what do you mean taking away health insurance? What are you talking about?
She said when she ran for president that she wants to eliminate private health insurance on the job for 170 million Americans, John.
Yeah, I mean that is not her position now.
John is acting like he doesn't know. This is what I'm talking about when the media becomes a propaganda machine of the Democratic Party. These are things she said herself. She said these things in the past. Even her recent supposed policy that she has, economic policy, is so destructive. It will not work in favor of the people. It will push us literally into communism. These are some of the things that she supported in the past. You can't deny that. But again, the media is holding water for the Democratic Party here. This is what he's doing.
It's on the job, 170 million Americans, John.
Yeah, I mean that is not her position now.
How do you know that's not her position? How do you know that's not her position?
I mean, she says she no longer supports Medicare for all.
She has not said that.
I love that. She has not said that. He's holding her accountable for her words, irrespective of what somebody else might say. But she has not denounced or changed these policies and these views that she had. That is the fact.
Maybe anonymous aides on a Friday night have said that, but the last thing that she said on
this was not a radical convention. I mean, she as you heard me go through with Bernie Sanders, she is not taking the positions of the far left of her party. She's clearly making an effort to move to the middle.
I did hear what you said to Senator Sanders, and I thought it was clear that he's very disappointed that she's taking these efforts not to change her positions, but to hide her positions, John. The American people are totally...
To hide. And she's also hiding from the media. That's been going on for a while, and I don't see why the media is not upset. But again, it goes to show that Kamala Harris really doesn't have much to show. That's why she cannot face the music. That's why she's running and hiding. I think this is going to continue until the election. So, and again, the media is not holding her accountable. They keep covering up for her, which is the reason why she can actually do what she does. If they were doing their jobs, right, if they went after her in the same way they went after Joe Biden after the debate with Donald Trump, where everybody saw with their eyes like, oh my Lord, our president is in a bad shape. And we knew that, but the media was making it look like this wasn't the case. So when they begin to expose Joe Biden, eventually he fell apart. So this goes to show you that the media has power, a lot of influence on the minds of people. So if they will at least hold her feet to the fire, making sure that she does these interviews and come out and tell the American people what her policy is. Like, enough with the emotionalism. Who cares about Megs Thee Stallion and all these rappers who can rap and sing and dance and shake their behinds? That doesn't fix the economy. That doesn't fix the country. That doesn't guarantee peace in the Middle East. That doesn't change the condition of our society. Like, we are concerned about real issues, and she's just playing with people's emotion right now. So this is the reason why, and I think the media is a joke. And this is why I speak about the media all the time, because part of the reasons why this stuff is going on, they allow it to happen. And the things that they don't want to happen, they will make sure it doesn't happen, right? They will wash your brain. They will brainwash the masses when they want a particular thing to go forward according to the plan of whoever it is that is writing the script, right? We can get into some deeper discussion about that. But and again, this is what's going on here. But Tom Cotton is poised. He's calm. He is knowledgeable, but he is whipping him.
Change her positions, but to hide her positions, John. The American people are totally justified to conclude that Kamala Harris is a dangerous San Francisco liberal based on what she campaigned on the last time she ran for president and what this administration has done for the last 4 years. Again, you would have thought watching the Democratic convention last week that the Democrats are not in office, that they're not in power, that they're campaigning against an incumbent Republican, when in reality, she's been part of the failures of the Biden-Harris administration for 4 years. And when she campaigned for president in her own right, she did in fact promise things like decriminalizing illegal immigration and taking away health insurance.
But that's his position. She's
listening to the DNC, and it became about Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Donald Trump.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Trump. Trump.
Who in the hell does he think he is? Who does he think he is?
These people are sick.
I don't know what Democrats will be without Donald Trump. Like, I don't know, because they have no policy position that they could say that could win the hearts of Americans apart from everything LGBT. It's just transgenderism and abortion. They really have nothing that could fix the border, the economy, that could address the real issues in society, to stop wars in the Middle East, to, like things that really matters to people, to increase jobs. And again, it turns out to be that the supposed jobs under Biden's were all false. We knew that, right? They were pumping up the numbers, making it seem like things were that big, that good, inflating in the masses and confusing us. They don't know how to fix none of these issues. Inflation is an issue. How are we going to fix that? But no, they have nothing. They have absolutely nothing. And the entire DNC, when you watch some of the things that were being said, it was like every single person was talking about Donald Trump.
But when you look at the Democrat convention, Howie, do you know how many times they mentioned President Trump's name during that convention?
I bet you're going to tell me.
I'm going to tell you, 401 times. They mentioned inflation 9 times. They mentioned illegal immigration 0 times. You want to know what the other thing is they didn't mention during that entire convention with all those speakers? They didn't mention the assassination attempt a single time, not once during that whole week. And in fact, only 48 or 72 hours after the assassination attempt against President Trump, they were up with brand new personal attacks. But that week of the Democrat convention, when they're trying to pretend like the last 3.5 years didn't exist and then try to work people's thinking about the radical liberal ideas she has going forward, it was just over and over attacking President Trump. And Howie, these were vicious, personal, negative attacks. There's a complete double standard for how President Trump is treated versus Kamala Harris.
So this was a love fest for Donald Trump. But again, that kind of propaganda machine, those kind of language were the reason why Donald Trump had a bullet that went through his ear, because they kept on talking like this, right? You creating this stuff where radicals will eventually turn out to do crazy things, but they don't learn from their mistakes. There's no accountability, right? So we're supposed to just move on. But anyway, Tom Cotton is doing his thing. So let him finish.
Clearly changed on, and
No,
she
she
has said
hasn't.
she has changed. Yes, she has.
No, she has not. John, she has not said that. She's not. You pointed out, Senator Sanders, repeatedly things that her campaign has said. Anonymous aides speaking on background to reporters has said, well, she no longer believes these things. Okay, maybe she has changed her position on things like taking away your health insurance and confiscating your gun. If she has changed her position, she owes it to the American people to come out and say in her own words when she changed and why she changed. That's one reason why she needs to address the American people and speak to these questions, because the only basis they have to conclude what she will be like as president is what she's done for 4 years in this administration and what she said in her own voice in the last campaign. Remember, these are not like college essays, John. This is what she said when she was campaigning for president as a 54-year-old woman. If she's had such a radical change of heart in the last 5 years, she owes the American people answers.
So speaking of radical changes of heart, I want to ask you about what Donald Trump had to say just a couple of days ago. He said, and this is an exact quote statement he put out, "My administration will be great for women and their reproductive rights." Is he now going to be campaigning on abortion rights?
I love how they call it, right? Democrats are good with their words. They know how to brand things, taking that which is evil and make it sound good. Reproductive rights, what is that? Do you have a right? You have a right to reproduce. But here's my question. Who is being reproduced though? When abortion happens, guess who? Guess what happens? Nothing gets reproduced. so here is the issue that I have with the Democratic Party. And I'm not sure if you guys saw this. The Democrats had a Planned Parenthood truck outside of the DNC where they were performing abortion. What does that have to do with anything that you're supposed to represent? And when I ask people a question like, you want to vote for a party just so that you can abort your baby? What about everything else that matters in life? Like, this is it? And you know what? The crazy thing is, most women by the age of 40, they cannot have babies. This is when you have to live real life. Real issues come face to face. Yeah, when you're a teen, you're in college, you can party over here all you want. That gets old pretty fast when you start a family, right? When you start to pay the bills. Reality comes face to face with you. But why would you want to vote for a party just so that you can cancel your baby? And again, Trump is moderate on this issue. I wish he wasn't. I'll be honest with you, because I'm a Christian, I'm a pro-life. I wish no babies got killed. That's my desire. That's my hope. But I live in a world of sin and I know the reality. I accept it for what it is. But Trump is very moderate. Send it back to the state. Let each state vote on the issue. It must not be a federal thing anymore. That's what the thing is. He's not ending it completely. You want to kill your baby? You want to do that? You can still do that in the United States. I wish you didn't. I wish you believe what God says. I wish you will appreciate life for what it is and understand from the very womb, even before they were created, God has a plan for these little babies. I wish this had never happened. But if you want to do it, depending on the state where you live, this could also be done. So the Democrats are running in this issue and trying to make it look like it's a good and positive thing. Nobody's being reproduced. And again, let me be quiet.
Rights. Is he now going to be campaigning on abortion rights? What's going on here?
He will be great for women. He was great for women. Women had great opportunities under Donald Trump. You had a healthy, growing economy. You had safe communities, and you had.
But I'm asking you about the reproductive rights.
Well, Democrats can use phrases like reproductive rights all they want to describe their pro-abortion position, which would force Americans to pay with tax dollars for abortion up to the moment of birth. That's the Democratic position.
I mean,
they can use that phrase if they want to. They don't get a monopoly on the language to cover up their radical positions.
But I just asked you, it's now Trump using those words.
But he's
reproductive rights. But he's also said, we also heard from J.D. Vance, that he would veto a national abortion ban, and he came out against using the Comstock Act to prevent the shipping of the abortion pill. So what is happening? I mean, in fact, he said just the other day, he suggested that he may support the amendment on the ballot in Florida to provide a constitutional right to an abortion. I mean, what is happening with Trump on abortion?
So, John, I think you just made a very important point. The only candidate here proposing a national abortion law is Kamela Harris. And we know what that law looks like because congressional Democrats have voted on it. It would require taxpayer funding for abortion up to the moment of birth.
That's not their law. They want to codify Roe v. Wade.
No, that's not at all. That's what they say about their law, John.
I'm asking you about Donald Trump, though.
So first off,
you have a solid pro-life record for as long as.
Donald Trump. Let's talk about Donald Trump. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about Donald Trump. I don't want to talk about Kamala Harris because we have nothing positive we can say about her. But let's talk about Donald Trump. Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing, man. I'm telling you.
You've been in public office. What do you make of what he is saying now, saying he is going to be protecting reproductive freedom, and then he could even support a constitutional amendment in Florida,
first off,
legalizing abortion?
I voted on the law. You didn't. It does not codify Roe. It goes far beyond what Roe.
I voted in the law. You didn't.
On the law. You didn't. It does not codify Roe. It goes far beyond what Roe says. It would provide taxpayer funding for abortion up to the moment of birth. Donald Trump has been consistent. He said that Roe v. Wade was wrongly decided. Before Roe v. Wade, This question was largely regulated by the states. Now that Roe v. Wade has been reversed, it will be again largely regulated by the states. Kamala Harris is the one that proposes the radical national abortion law.
I also want to ask you.
Oh man, we gotta pause right here. Take some notes. Take some notes. This is how you behave against the opposition. This man knows what he's talking about. He is ready to give an answer. He understands the, and but again, his attitude, he keeps it simple. But again, let's be honest, man. If you are a Christian and you're watching this channel, I don't know if you come across my channel, why would you vote Democrats in these last days? I will agree with you. The Republicans are not that pious. They're not that holier than thou. There's issues and corruption over there as well. But I think Donald Trump's is different. It's not like the neocon Republicans. I really think so. When I look at what he is talking about, he is somewhat in the middle. He's a common sense type of guy. Trump is having the Kennedy in his party, Tulsi Gabbard, Vivek Ramaswamy. Like, the people that he is bringing, we're not radical Republicans, right? Far right. No, these are people that are just like, how do we solve the problem? Elon Musk. Like, this is something different. This is a coalition that we've never seen before. So the reason is you got to think about what is best for the country as a whole. What works and what doesn't. The Democratic Party are in power. Kamala Harris has the ability to fix many other issues that she plans on fixing on day one. She can fix them now. Why isn't she fixing them? Because really, she cannot do anything to fix these things. So I say that to say this. Consider carefully what you're voting for. Think about the issues being presented and make a decision that will bring God's the highest glory. Think about things that will save human lives, including the little babies in the wombs. You know, just the other day I was walking at the park and I saw this little baby in her mother's arm. And it dawned on me. I'm like, how can anybody abort and remove this precious little soul? When they are most vulnerable in the mother's womb, how could you just rip it apart? And then you want to vote for a party who does this? And you think God is not going to spank some of us in the future? I could say a lot more, but let me calm down. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. If you enjoyed this video, share your thought and perspective with me. Check out our merch. Support the channel that way. Until next time, have a good one. Bye.